And we're live. Hello, and welcome to the Bold Leadership Story Show, where we talk about experiences shaping exceptional lives. And today I have the honor of hosting Trevor Singleton. Trevor is a leadership development and a coaching expert. He has, he's worked in the corporate world. He's discovered his passion for coaching others while he was working in corporate. Where were you working in corporate, Trevor?
So I was working for an insurance company. Uh,
Okay.
Probably one of my first steady gigs there. I think I've been working there for about 5-6 years, and so I was looking to climb up the ladder as
That,
well.
yep.
Yeah,
Been there, done that.
yeah, and I was wondering, well, what's the one thing that's getting in the way, and there was this little thing that was getting in the way called, a degree. So
Yeah, right.
that was a little bit of a challenge. So I said, okay. And, there was a period of time where the bachelor's would suffice. However, I had gone beyond that era. And so now a master's was needed. So I found a program
Mhm.
at a local school where they combined your work experience, where you can combine your work experience and you get a, combined,
Oh,
end up with a
nice. Okay. That's
yeah.
smart.
Yeah. So so that was a great opportunity. I worked full time and was going to school full time.
Okay. And how old were you then?
Uh I was something like that. No, kidding. Kidding. I think I was probably in my early 30s.
Okay.
Late probably like late 20s, early 30s. I think oh no, early 20s because I got it a year or so after I got married.
So
Uh,
that's when you get your master's degree in management.
Yes, yep, I got
Yeah. Okay.
my master's in management, and that
Okay.
was
Cool. What's
definitely.
your passion? I mean, you did that. I'm thinking because you saw. Let me back up. For me, I was in the corporate world for almost 35 years.
Mm,
And I became like a corporate chameleon. I lost myself in that mess. But I had this inkling that's like, wow, this job is cool. I'm making good money, but it's just not me anymore.
mm,
But and so I was unable to really break free of that.
yeah.
But it looks like you did. You took the bull by the horns and broke free.
Well, I was in the corporate world, but I carved out my niche.
Okay.
I knew what I wanted to do.
Uh-huh.
When I got into college, I had realized that, and I saw the curriculums, and there was a curriculum, there was a, a class for coaching. Now,
Okay.
I had never known, and so when I found out what
What kind of
coaching was,
coaching? There's like all kinds of different coaching. What was the one you liked the most?
it was a combination of life and business coaching, and
Okay.
so I had not heard the term, and that's really when coaching had started cresting. This is about 2003, 2004.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that was a fairly new field. That term was very new. Um,
Right.
there weren't like books written out about it, not too many out there, but it was
Back then, let's see, there were cell phones,
yeah.
but the internet wasn't really a thing yet.
Not too much, so it was really, I mean, there was some internet, but otherwise it was like, the programs, it's finally Microsoft was taking off. PDF was falling in the backside.
Mhm.
Really, and the college really taught me how to, that I really had to step up. I actually had an assignment that I didn't realize that it had to be PowerPoint. So the night before it was due, I spent hours at work learning PowerPoint.
All
Taught,
right. You know
taught
what,
myself.
cramming? That's what Chris talks about. Chris Prouty, our coach, he talks about that. You know, the cramming, on purpose.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I mean,
Because
I guess that's sometimes how you do it. You jump into it and you're like,
yeah.
okay, I need to get into it. So, I mean, I learned PowerPoint like that night, like the animation, how to click and how to move forward, how to
Uh-huh.
bring in pictures and stuff like that. And then, and I did well on the assignment. And so
Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say.
say it again, my goodness. It was, and then I learned, as I learned about coaching, I was like, wait a minute, I've been doing this for so long. Been doing this with family members, with friends, and all that. I said, okay, there's actually a field that I can do. So I began to incorporate coaching tenets and precepts into my work. And so that
Mhm.
really helped me to be a better, helped me just to be a better colleague, a better leader all around, you know. So,
Excellent, excellent. So, where did you go from there, and how did you build your business up?
so from there, I began to get more into managing and leadership fields. I was a business manager after that. I went into this. I was also a delivery. Well, it was an associate and delivery manager. Um, a lot of my positions after that were more catered toward coaching, leadership, was towards training and development. That's really where my passion was, from coaching, training, and development. I
Mhm.
really it's really an inspiration for me when I'm able to help someone discover something about themselves. That to me is really a passion. I was able to really balance the two between consulting and coaching.
Okay.
So there's, man, many people don't know sometimes that, well, some people don't know that there's a difference between the two of
Mm.
consulting and coaching. If you're a consultant, that means that you tell me a problem and I give you the answer.
Okay.
Whereas as a coach, you would tell me the problem, and I would begin to ask you a series of questions and take you through things where you discover the answer on your own and inside of yourself. So
Right.
when you're coached and you discover the answer like that, there's more retention, there's more ownership, there's more buy-in, responsibility. You've discovered something that's inside of you that you didn't know was there. And in that, it endears you more to the process and causes you to desire to learn more about yourself.
Which do you prefer? Which of those roles do you like to play the most?
Definitely the coach. So I do prefer the coaching because it helps me. It's almost sort of you kind of selfish because because when I help people discover things about themselves, I get a great feeling about it. I'm on a discovery path with them. I'm their inner guide to themselves.
Okay.
It's something to say that, hey, I've been alive all this time and I've been working and going through life emotions, and all of a sudden, oh, I didn't know that this was inside of me. I didn't know that I could, manage, I could delegate. I didn't know that I could train. I didn't know that this was a huge inspiration, a motivation for me. And so people really respond when they're able to discover things about themselves. And so
Mm.
that's what's an inspiration for me, to be that coach, to help them, to hold them accountable as well. And so that's why I put myself out there. If anyone see me out there on the social media, I'm Coach Trev, the accountability coach. So
Yeah. Right. The Coach Trev. So let's take a look at your website here, Coach Trev. You've
sure.
got single source coaching solutions, and here, let me pull it up. So, welcome to Single Source Coaching Solutions, and you've got about me. Let's take a look at that. About
Yep,
me and professional accountability coach.
yep.
Wow, I love that suit, man.
Thank
Dapper.
you. Thank you. Appreciate it. So um, definitely it's definitely was a gift, and it's good camera, good picture.
Yeah.
So, it's great photographer. I've known her for a while. And she would be my wife. Yes, that that would be the person. But yeah, so I took my time and found out. Let's say I got certified as a life coach and certified as a business and entrepreneurship coach.
Uh huh.
Took my time really to find out the tenets. And that's the great thing about the coaching field, that there is so much to discover. You know, um,
What's the one thing that you remember that the first, like one of the first big aha moments you had?
about coaching,
Yeah, as a coach.
I would say really to really discover the fact that it, there are it's not about giving people the answer. It's not about taking someone by the hand and guiding them. It's really about questioning their mindset, questioning where they stand, and having
Mm.
them open themselves up to being able to receive that change, being able to discover that change. I've always been sort of a fix-it person. If you give me a problem, I want to help you with the answer and help you resolve it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Guys are like that. I think guys are like, yeah, just let me fix it for you. Don't want to hear all of the stuff. I want to fix it. Yeah.
right, right. I've learned to, and I've learned to be able to, like, ask a person something and then embrace the silence.
Okay.
You know,
That's
because
hard to do sometimes.
yeah, you want to fill it. There's that yang. You want to
Like I
fill
just
that
did.
void. But for so to ask a question and just stop and wait until that person's there. It's really that. I mean, you've been in that where, like, you want to fill it. Meetings are filled with people that want to talk and express, and a lot of times people are waiting to speak, but then I'm waiting to listen. It's listening for what's not being said.
Yeah. We that's a strategy that's used in selling as well. First
Yeah.
one to speak loses.
Right, right. The first one to get an offer. That's where the base is, or the floor is. Yeah,
But it's because it forces you to think, and it gives, just puts a little bit of attention in the moment, and gives you like this motivation to say something. But if you're just quiet and confident, you want you want that person to say what's really on their mind or in their heart.
right,
And
right.
sometimes that takes a moment to work its way out, right?
It does. It
So
does.
yeah, I see that. It's an art to do that.
Yeah, people realize they want to, not just deal with the symptom. They want to deal with the root.
So I missed this wellness coach.
Yes. So,
What tell me about that?
and with wellness, many times that people may have challenges because there may be something, either mental or physical, going on with them.
Mm,
And so it's a matter of really asking the question until you find out what's going on. What's your routine? What is it that you do on a regular basis? Because when you have a conversation with someone, you may get the symptoms. Sort of like when you go to a doctor's going to ask you a number of questions.
mhm.
Okay, so these are your symptoms. These are your symptoms. And from there, they have a diagnosis.
Right,
You go into the doctor's, they have tons of books. They may not have them all memorized, but they know where to go.
right.
So with the wellness, it's a matter of saying, okay, let me ask you some questions about your wellness. How are you, asking questions that deal with their mental health, that deal with their physical health, from a holistic point of view. And so now it's saying, okay, I see where this is, and now I'm able to help and partner you with any of the resources that I have. And it could be, regarding their, the physical health, maybe their daily diet. Are they getting enough sleep?
Mm,
you know Things that you wouldn't think that would be the cause of something, but really is. So you're looking at, how does sleep come into play? How does, when you eat, how you eat, how often you eat, how does all that play into your work life, your home life, your personal life, your social and business life, all those things. So that's is under the umbrella of wellness.
okay, yeah, that makes total sense. When I was in corporate world traveling, I had 11 Western states, half of Canada and Mexico as a territory,
Mm,
and I was constantly on the road, and I was go 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 go. I was making really good money, but I was just pushing, pushing, pushing. And if you'd have told me that I needed to take care of myself better, I'd have said, "Oh, I am," and just kept going. But actually, I wasn't.
mm. What?
I wasn't sleeping well. I was eating over. I wasn't eating the right foods. I was stressed to the max, and eventually, my body just basically filed divorce papers on me uh, about 4 years ago. So I had to make some real changes.
Wow.
So wellness is a big deal for me now. I've completely changed my perspective on that, and I really appreciate anybody who's in that space that's working to help people become better at taking care of their body and their wellness is so important.
It is. Yeah. And you learn and you've seen, you've been on both sides now. You've seen the other side, and now you're on the tail end and seeing, my gosh, you know, look, just by making these tweaks and being consistent about it, look,
Yeah.
look what I've done. Wow, I sleep better. I stand up. I walk better. I don't have the crash I used to have.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah,
you know,
I was thinking back. I used to have like brain fog, and I used to have my eyesight wasn't good. I kept having to increase my readers
ooh,
for night vision, especially going into a restaurant or something. I had to carry my readers around with me. That's all gone. My eyes are like
wow,
I'm as good as I was in my 40s now, I think.
wow,
And my skin's better, my sleep is good. I my brain fog. I still have those moments, but I'm much better than I was before, and I have energy. So yeah, all that stuff, and I lost like 50 pounds, and I've kept it off.
wow.
So it's and sleep is more of a priority for me. I try to get at least 7 hours of good sleep,
It's
and I
good.
meditate, managing my stress. That was the biggest one of diet and managing stress.
Yeah,
Those are the two really big ones.
yeah.
And
That's
then daily movement, getting up and doing something every day. I was sitting on my tuchus for 12, 16 hours a day and just can't do that.
yeah, yeah. I did that once as well. Like I said, you sit on your you sit on your tuchus for that long. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Something's gonna
yeah.
break down,
And
and
it ain't going to be good.
no, no, it ain't gonna be good as well. I mean, that happened to me too. I was like, okay, I need to get up too because I was working hard like that too, sitting, 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 and then you get that one hospital visit. You're like, all right, time time to make that change. I got some years ahead of me that I want to appreciate.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that's like I'm now into longevity. That's a big thing for me now is focusing on making the days and months and years I have left to be fun and energetic and life life filled and not having to walk around with a walker or be in a wheelchair or do something like which I was headed for. My body was headed for wheelchair,
Yeah, yeah,
and I had to make some adjustments, and I'm glad I did. Actually, I'm really grateful that it happened because it woke me up.
that's good, and you get to pass this on too as well to your family, to the generations. You know,
Well, yeah, and that's that's what's cool about this technology we've got now too, is it makes it a lot easier to share this kind of stuff.
right, right, exactly, and it's that time. There's the focus on that. So even though sometimes people are saying the word diets, but really you made a lifestyle change. So you changed your life. That wasn't, come sometimes you hear diet and it's like, well, I do this for 90 days, do this for 120 days, and I'm done.
Right.
But you made lifestyle changes that you're still doing to this day, and that you perceive yourself as doing throughout the rest of your life. That's lifestyle change.
Yeah. Oh, big time. That was a huge lifestyle change. I do 5 things now every day, or not every day. These are my 5 things. Um, it's diet, exercise, stress management, and sleep and community service. Those are
That,
my
that's good.
5 focuses right now. Those are the things I do. And
Nice.
those are the things I learned from the people that are experts in longevity,
Mm,
because that's what they learned from the people. And have you heard of the blue zones?
the blue zones.
Blue zones.
I've heard
They're
of.
they're areas on the planet on the Earth that where people live to be centenarians. They're 100 years or older
Mm,
on a regular basis.
okay.
And there's certain things that they all do. All these groups all over the place. There's like 12 of them around the planet.
Mm,
And so those are the 5 things when you boil it all down. Those are the 5 things that they do.
Wow. So the sleep, the stress management, the sleep, the community engagement,
Yep.
and the
Yeah.
exercise. Wow.
Exercise and diet.
And diet. Yes, yes. What they take into their bodies, what they
Yeah.
eat. Yeah. And I wonder how many of those blue zones are in the US?
One in Loma Linda. It's right here in Southern California. It's like right in the heart of Southern California.
There you
But
go.
it's a blue zone. I mean, you'd never know it because it's right in the middle of the city.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll definitely have to look into that because that's when we're looking about that, it's about that. It's about the longevity, the age management, the the management of your body, of what comes in, and how you handle, how you process things, your
Right.
your action and your reaction. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and not many of us are taught that. That we're not taught because a lot of times we grow up with older models of eating, of sleeping, of saying I can deal with it. You like you said, you thought 20 years ago you were fine. You were going from state to state, from city to city, and eating whatever and check the box. But you had to get a new perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. I pulled up the Doorways of Life, your book here, kind of on accident, but it'd be a good segue. But we could move into your book. Love to talk about that.
Oh yes, thank you. So the Doorways of Life, that came out of a challenge I got from our coach Chris Prouty.
Okay.
So from there, I hadn't been putting out any videos, so he challenged me to put out videos every day, and that was October 2022. And so I put out videos every single day, if any day that ended in a Y, including holidays.
That's every day.
So,
Yep, every day.
yes, I think the only 2 days I may have missed was Christmas and Mother's Day because the videos are promotion. They're promoting my business. So I
Mm.
was like, all right, we'll take those 2 days off, but every day. So I put out videos, and they were all out on my YouTube channel, Single Source Coaching Solutions. And one idea I got was to take the image of a doorway and compare that to the transitions in life.
Okay.
And so I put out a series of videos, and they went from 1 video to 3 to 5 to 14.
Wow.
And so one of my other coaches suggested that, hey, why don't I turn this into a book? And that's just what I did. I
Okay.
had the videos out there, and it was called The Doorways of Life. Open yourself up to a new perspective. You know, um, so that was my impetus. Is that there are times where people are looking for tools of self improvement and self discovery. So,
Mm.
and when you have a doorway, you want to know, how do you go through it? Is this the right doorway for you? Are you ready to transition? What steps do you want to take? So one chapter talks about an automatic door versus a manual door. So
Okay.
with a automatic door, it's about where you position yourself. If you're not in the right position, that door is not going to open up for you. So similar to in business, or you could be in the right meeting at the right time. Are you in the right position for someone to notice the work that you're doing, so that you could either be promoted or benefit from that? So that door won't open unless you're in the right position.
Interesting.
Right.
So how do you, if say you see the door and you know it's there, but I mean, what if you opened it and you weren't ready?
So if you opened it and you weren't ready, and that's a good question too. Is that one? Are you ready? What are the steps you take to prepare for it? You
And how do
open.
you know if you're ready or not?
That's exactly what I address when dealing with the door, meaning that you see what's on the other side, and that's another chapter actually,
Okay.
called a solid door and a screen door. So with the screen door, you can see through it, but are you ready to walk through it? So there may be that fear of missing out. You're concerned that you're not ready. You keep yourself back on purpose because you have this fear of the unfamiliar.
Uh-huh.
So now it's really, where's that fear based from? Is it because of lack of knowledge, lack of skills? Are you going off a traditional mindset as someone told you that you weren't good enough to go to the next, and you're operating off that old mindset?
Mm.
So that's a lot, and that's a lot of times what it is. A lot of people are dealing with what I like to call, some people have a mindset, but some people are dealing with a set mind. So a set mind is mainly that this is where I'm stuck. I can't be moved. Someone told me this. I believe this, and this is where I'm going to stay. I can't deviate to the right or left. This is my path. Versus a mindset. A mindset is something that's pliable, that's changeable, that you can mold.
Mm.
We're on this podcast, and not only I'm here, but I'm also learning. I'm learning about the blue zones. I'm learning about the 5 areas. I'm learning that the change that you went through in order to get to where you are now, and how I can incorporate that into my life. So I'm always there opening myself up to be, okay, when can I be taught? And I'm being taught here. So with that screen door, I see what's on the other side, and then I've got to go through. I've got to say, okay, am I ready to go through? Now, if you have a solid door in front of you, you can't look through that. You have to open that door on faith.
Mm.
You have to step through and say, you know what, I don't know what's on the other side, but I've got everything with me. I've got the things I need. So I'm just going to walk through this door on faith and crossing that threshold. So that's where I get a lot of my material from in regards to transitions. That provement when you're ready to go to that next level, either in life or business or personal, any of those areas. What are some tips and techniques that you can use? So that's why I wrote the book, and I have an original quote at the beginning of each chapter. I also have some questions at the end, because it's not just about reading; it's about studying
Okay.
because you can read without studying, but you can't study without reading. So the goal is to, when you study, you actually put it into practice. Like you said, you heard the five. You heard about the 12 zones. Change didn't happen until you put them into practice, right, Jim?
Exactly. Yeah. It's so important. It's like I think a lot of people, from my experience, they'll go to an event or a course, they'll take a course or they'll buy something online, especially online. It's amazing the stats I've seen that people buy an online course, used to get tapes or books and, books and tapes and stuff. 90, the stats are 90+% of those never even get the wrapping taken off of them. Nope. I mean, people they buy this stuff for, I don't know why they I think have a moment where they call it, they're ambitious, and then the work starts and they find something else to do.
Right.
And it's the ones that take that course and go through it and actually implement those things as they're studying it.
Mhm.
Using your term, studying is a physical thing. You're actually studying, you're writing, you're learning, and you're inputting it in and then doing it.
Exactly. You're incorporating that. It has to be something you did, which is why I put myself out there, as an accountability coach.
Okay. Yeah.
Because
You're the guy that I fear,
right,
but
because
I'll pay you.
exactly. You tell me what you're gonna do. I say in the time frame. Oh, so I'm there. I'm sending you a text. I'm emailing. I'm making sure that someone's knocking on your door. Like, by the way, Jim, you said you were gonna do this. You were doing it, right? You did it. How come you didn't do it? So I'm that person, because with the accountability, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's professional, whether it's you want to get healthier or something like that, I'm the person that's going to help you to put the in front of your limiting beliefs.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like I'm pulling up one of your screens here.
Hmm. Yeah,
I hope this is the right one. Yeah, this is it.
that's right. That's my tagline: the foot in your backside, making sure you don't backslide.
Yeah, yeah, baby. Yeah, you don't want the coach Trev to be calling you at 3 in the morning saying, "Get your ass out of bed."
Because I will do it. Why? Because you told me this is where you want to go. I'm going to make sure you discover it, and we're going to exceed expectations.
There
I
you go.
gotta aim for that, because and it's the thing. I work, regardless of what your goal is. Your goal could be that you want to learn a language, you want to learn an instrument. And I'm going to work with you on breaking that down into those milestones so that when we hit them, and you're gonna see how far you can go, you look back, you'll be amazed. But you need that foot in your backside so you don't backslide.
So what do you got? Like size 12s? Yeah.
Cool. Oh, sorry. Even my
Excellent.
video was started talking.
Well,
Making sure I was there, making sure I didn't backslide.
yeah, right. Oh man. So what's um what's next for you, Coach Trev? You've got some good momentum happening and you're building your business up. What's the horizon look like for you? Where do you want to go?
So what's next for me is I'm going to be working on working on a potentially a workbook for my book. The doorways of life. So I'm going to be working on that. I've got some more. My goal is at least 2024 to
Mhm.
put out to publish 2 books. This
Okay.
first, yeah,
Wow.
the first one.
So where if somebody wants to get your book, where do they go?
They can go to Amazon.com,
Okay.
or they can go to buythedoorwaysoflife.com. That'll take you right to my page. So
Okay. Hang
so
on.
yeah.
Let me put that up.
Hmm.
So it's www dot what?
Buy the doorways of life.com.
Ways ways
Yep.
of life.com. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put that up here.
Excellent. That's great. Yep. So they can go there. They can go to buythedoorwaysoflife.com. So it's available. It's available there, which is on Amazon, available on Barnes and Nobles. And I'm hoping that, and also my goal is by the end of this month, I'll have the audiobook out as well.
Oh, I love audiobooks. For
Yes.
me, that's really the sweet spot because I I can listen to books while I'm doing, driving or doing, just relaxing. And reading's always better. Like I'll listen to a book and then if I really love it, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
But I think listening is so good to have that as an option.
Yeah. It's what you take in. It's that ear gate. It's going in there. So I'm going to be and I'm actually narrating my own book because
Yeah.
I'm also, yeah, I'm a voiceover artist as well.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
That's good to know.
that's something that's out there. So to get the audiobook out, get another book out. I actually have a course coming out too as well. Um, a,
Yeah.
a small course. It's called so my course, which is going to be available if anybody sees me on YouTube or Facebook. Or Instagram or any one of those or LinkedIn, I have a course coming out within the next week or so. It's called From Layoff to Takeoff.
From layoff to oh man, that's a great picture. I've been there
Yeah,
a couple times, as much as I hate to admit it. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
it's like all of a sudden you're gone, you're laid off, and then you're like, "Phew." then
right.
then your job is to get another job.
Exactly. And a lot of people don't know what to do. You've invested so much time and all of a sudden they come to you and say, you come into work and, you type in and like, hey, my password isn't working. Can I talk to you for a minute? Really?
Right? Oh, it's just like so rude sometimes, but hey, they have to anymore because otherwise they get people sue them and do odd things.
Exactly.
So
So yeah. So I'll be putting that out. I'll be putting that out there. And it's a mini course. It's going to be 8 modules, 15 minutes each, but they have so many techniques and tips for you to be able to digest and
cool.
put in place. Uh, Anybody that purchases it will also get a weekly accountability call. I'll have a group call that I'll do weekly. Um,
Okay.
and so it'll be similar to how our own coach has that Friday call that we're
Right.
on.
Right.
It'll be similar to that. So it'll be an accountability call once a week, and then they'll have an opportunity if they want to work with me one on one or work with me on a deeper level. So
Hmm.
this will be an opening to having my own containers and my own courses out of Coach Trev and the Single Source Coaching Solutions. So
Excellent.
that's the goal for 2024 is to get few courses out there, get my own mastermind and inner circles, get that going, and expand the private coaching as well to begin to not only coach others but also be able to travel and speak to those, be a speaker.
Awesome.
You know.
We got some love from Milton Taylor Jr.
Oh, okay.
He's a gentleman I met in Texas, and hey, Milton. I don't know if he's on anymore, but he stopped in and gave us a heart. So
Oh,
thanks for the love, Milton. Appreciate it.
thank you, Milton. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anything like that, I appreciate. Glad that you're here. Thank you for the heart.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So I have one more question for you,
All right.
and so let's see. That it's basically. You have time for one more?
Of course. Yes, definitely.
Cool.
Only for you.
So um, basically, taking a look at your whole life, what was the boldest leadership decision that you've made, and what were the consequences?
Hmm. The boldest leadership decision I made, and what were the consequences? Interesting. I think probably the boldest leadership decision I made was in a volunteer perspective, or in a nonprofit field. So I
So you've worked in for profit and nonprofits, right?
Yes, and so this nonprofit, the position, this wasn't paid. This was at my local church, and the church is about at that time was about 2,000 members, and about the building was about 65,000 square feet, and
Hmm.
so I was nominated and I accepted the position of being chairman of the board, and so. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and so it was early 40s, and so I've been the youngest chairman ever. And so this is with me having 100 leaders roll up. Those are paid and non-paid staff and various auxiliaries. I would say even close to 100 as well. So you got all these leaders uh, coming at me so, for advice, suggestions, disciplines, things along those lines. So that probably was the boldest leadership decision that I ever made. What did I learn from it?
Yeah.
Um, I learned to put first things first. I learned to prioritize. My wife was very patient because I remember there was even one year. This was a 2-year tenure. There was one year where there was a matter where I had to go into the building and meet with some people on my anniversary. So she was very forgiving and open for that.
You're blessed with a generous wife.
Yes, yes, and mind you, the my church was about 45 minutes to an hour away from my house, so I was going in 2 to 3 times a week. Had to sign checks, had to sit through a lot of disciplinary matters. A lot of times when you're a member, that's kind of a benefit. You just see what you see on Sunday. When
Hmm.
you're the person where the buck stops with you see the behind the scenes, and sometimes it's not that pretty,
Right.
but there's a saying that says, in this world you will have trials, but fear not, for you've overcome the world. So I've learned a lot about myself, what I can tolerate, and how much, and to be able to ask for help. Being vulnerable, and learning that I didn't have to have all the answers, that I could turn to people and rely on them, and and trust their instinct, and know that though it's not perfect, it's I'm doing this, I'm leading with my head and my heart,
Mm.
combination of the two. Yeah, so it was definitely some tough times. I mean, even after the first year, I was close to stepping away, real close to stepping away. But I got the help that I need, and took the time to really sit down, pray about it, talk to my wife about it, and stuck it out. And thankfully, during that time frame, we were able to create and put out the first balanced budget that they had in 10 plus years. Um,
Wow.
we were able to have multi wide church wide meetings, um, and we were able to we were just able to put some processes in place that had not been there before. Clean up a lot of the excess, a lot of the clutter that was there, and try to
Mm.
streamline things. So so that
That's
was
a
what,
that's a real like a real leadership role. It sounds like taking care of the financial picture is critical,
yeah,
but if you don't have the communication and you don't have the culture set up to fix it, you're like constantly behind the eight ball because the mess gets created faster than you can clean it up.
right.
So it sounds like you had to kind of take like a nest of stuff and clean it out.
It was definitely trial by fire.
Yeah,
Drinking from the fire hose, as they say.
that's a that's a bold leadership move. And it sounds like you were successful.
Yes, successful in the fact that I'm still here, so, and successful in the fact that I was really able to put a pattern in place where, the focus was improving processes, having a balanced budget, of thinking forward and thinking ahead, delegating, and
Mm.
seeing that all these things are possible if you just not only plan for it but just give it a shot, versus having discussion. You can't course correct a parked car. You have to be in motion. So rather than talk about it, put things in motion.
It's a lot easier to steer the car when it's rolling.
Definitely, indeed. So I learned a lot and was grateful for the experience. So, and now I'm able to take that and incorporate that into my coaching and into those that I can help, either in a coaching capacity, a paid coach capacity, or just on an offshoot, the hallway conversation.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you mentioned that you during that period of time when you were struggling with it, that you got the help you needed. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, there was a time where um, we had monthly meetings, but I increased that to a couple times a week because I needed the help. Um, and I really put it to our board of directors. I had forms created that were not reinstatement, but it was more of a recommitment form. So I had
Mm.
each of the members sign it and say, "You are, there's a document I have on file that you are recommitting to put efforts in to help move the organization forward in regards to finance, in regards to tech, in regards to community engagement and service." So it was really having conversations with them as a group and individually. And the conversations weren't always comfortable. However, I told them I need help. When you can admit your vulnerability and say, I need help, this is a board who can help me, there's strength in vulnerability. And they
Yeah.
saw the sincerity that I wanted to lead and lead well. When that comes out and when you put that out there, it's going to attract those that want to see you help, that want to see the organization. So I had certain board members come up and fill gaps that were fill leadership gaps that were needed, that could meet me, could help, and that actually prepared that board member to become the chairman after me.
Another key. is you want to, I would think in that role, you want to find somebody eventually that can take your spot so you can move on to other things.
Right. That the mentoring, the succession, that was
Yes.
really
Yeah.
important. That succession, it's not just, I'm in this position and when I'm over, it's over. No, it's preparing and saying, this is what these shoes feel like. Walk in them for a day, walk in them for a couple of weeks. How does it feel? Can you get comfortable? You know, this and I'm a strong proponent of, hey, this is where I bang my head. Don't you bang yours.
Mm,
So
mm.
so I will
So
sit with
transparency and opening up, and I mean that would expose you to potential and maybe embarrassment, or it's like, yeah, I should have done this, but I didn't,
yeah,
But if, I agree with you. If you can get over that, get over yourself, have
exactly.
the right culture and environment where people are, honest, and when they make a mistake, think, yeah, I messed up. It's like, okay, what did we learn from that? And
Right.
let's talk about it. It's like I interviewed a gentleman last week he was a helicopter pilot
Mm,
in the Marines and in combat. And one of the things that he uh, really enjoyed, I think, listening to him, one of the highlights was their their sessions after their missions,
mm,
where they'd all sit down and just talk openly and honestly. It's like, yeah, we did this and I screwed up here and this is what I learned. And, we they all learn from each other. And you don't get that in business all the time.
not all the time.
And that's a shame. I think you set it up. Sounds like you set that up for yourself. And that was wise. I love that's a beautiful lesson right there. That is a bold, beautiful lesson. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. I'm glad I was able to help somebody. When that transparency, when you're that transparent and you don't care, you just want someone to learn from it. People can grab onto that. And if they can get something from it, all the better.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Coach Trev, thank you so much for being on the show today. I think like wrap it up here. So any last thoughts? I'm going to put up your website.
Yeah, yeah, definitely put up the website. If anyone is looking to schedule some time, you want a complimentary collaborative call, you can go to my website. You can also go to talkwithtrevor.com. Um, that gets you right to my calendar. We can book some time and discuss ways that brainstorm on ways to help you to reach your goals. And that's really what it's about. I like helping people discover things about themselves so they can reach their goals. So rather than do any type of delay, then let's get together. Let's brainstorm. Let's have that discussion. So yeah. So if anybody wants to get on my calendar, talkwithtrevor.com. You know, if you want a sample of my training, my coaching, check out my YouTube, which is Single Source Coaching Solutions. Facebook, Coach Trev, Single Source Coaching Solutions. I have a ton of videos like that challenge I told you, Jim, where Chris told me to do one every day. I did
Yeah,
one
yeah.
every day for a year. There's a video out there every single day, whether it's 3 minutes or it's just a reel or a story. But there's something out there that you can use to be able to help you to go that much further.
Awesome. Yeah. Nice work.
And Jim, thank you for the platform, because not only was I able to speak, but like I said, I learned from you. So once we get finished, I'm going to look up Blue Zones, right?
Oh yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I hope so.
You know,
Wellness is I love that topic. So it's
yeah,
it's really good to learn about.
exactly. And so it's a blessing to be able to share that with someone. And I see the passion in your face. As soon as we said wellness, you even got bigger and brighter. It was like, oh, I went through this and now I sleep better and I talk better. I'm like, okay, we're about to switch roles, about to ask you questions and put you on the spot.
Oh, it's just a wonderful part of life that's I had neglected. So I'm kind of like a little boy again, re-exploring and relearning. and then putting it into my life. So it's been fun. But thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing that part. I appreciate that, Jim, and thank you for even allowing me to be able to share this time with you. This is great. This was fair exchange. We both learned.
Well, yeah, it's fun. It's like I love this as like a conversation, so it works for us. And also, I'd like to give a shout out to Terry Sue Parker. She gave us a thumbs up. So thank you, Terry Sue. She's here in Temecula. She's an amazing lady.
Oh, nice.
Does some excellent work here in the town. So
wonderful. That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I know you're in Temecula. I'm over here on the far East Coast.
What city are you in?
Just outside of Boston.
Okay.
So just out. So Boston, born and raised. Please do not judge me. Anybody watching? But yeah. But I've been, as I said, with the previous position, I used to travel as well. Did in 7 years. I did 45 states.
Wow.
Yeah, 45 states, including Alaska and Hawaii.
Wow.
So yeah.
I haven't been to Alaska. That's the only one that I have not been to.
Yeah, that was a twofer because I was a senior consultant and my director called me and said, "Hey, we've got a training for you, an implementation for you in December, but if I give that to you, you got to go to Alaska in February." So that was the deal. My only condition was if I go to Alaska, it's got to be a major city, in which it was Anchorage. I didn't want to have like a puddle jumper. I had to put on the snowshoes, the tennis rackets, take a left at the igloo. So I didn't dog sled somewhere. I just wanted
right. Go do the Iditarod.
Exactly. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't got there yet, but. So that's how I got to Alaska, and I got my picture in front of the one last remaining Blockbuster. That's still up there.
Awesome.
So.
Yeah, it's beautiful country. I've got some friends that have property up there, and they go up in the spring, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I'm grateful for the career that I've had because I've been able to go to places like Alaska. And go to even California. I hadn't been in California maybe. I think California. That was the first time I was able to go. San Diego up to San Francisco, Sebastopol, Sonoma, wine country there. The redwoods. Then down to San Diego, to Coronado Island, to Carlsbad, and to La Jolla and all that, and all those in between. So just grateful to be able to travel to various different various different states and different places and be able to meet people and learn. That's the thing. I learned from every place I went to. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so important. That's my grandfather. I remember when I was young, my grandfather said, "You learn one thing a day and you'll be just fine." So that stuck with me. And it helped me, when I was a kid, I didn't like to read. I was kind of lazy, but once I figured it out, I have an insatiable need, just total immersion. I love learning new things.
Exactly. Yeah. Me as well.
And then applying them.
Yeah, me as well. I grew up reading. I had to. I was an only child, so
okay.
So yeah, I grew up as an only child. So once I learned to read, and also I lived with my aunts and uncles, and my uncle, he got me reading early because he was a family of jokesters. He would tease me.
Family of jokesters.
Yeah, jokers. Because when I was young, he would call me names, but he would spell the name. And then he knew I couldn't, he would
just rub it in.
Right. He would spell it and he knew I couldn't spell like that type of detail. When you get that type of detail, you're like, okay. And so that kind of pushed me to read because I'm like, what's he calling me? So he'd spell like, he's a stinker or he's a big head, and he would spell it. And I'm like, what is he saying?
Oh, that's funny. Well, hey, it worked.
It worked. It got me into reading. It, I stayed in the library reading comics, Encyclopedia Brown, and got into Sherlock Holmes and all that stuff, and
Okay.
and then self-improvement books as I got older. So yeah, love to learn, love to read. I've always been a fan of self-improvement, and so now I get to take that and help others while still improving.
Awesome. Yeah, that did the early exposures, the early memories of it's amazing how impactful those early memories are on your life.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
And those early stories, those experiences that you have and how they shape you.
Yeah, and sometimes you wish you could go back and say, "Man, can I just go to the library and grab a book and do the pick your own adventure? If you want to go to the store, go to page 69. If you're not, go to page 114." You know, and so it's a different time, but at least the skills we got then are translatable, and we're able to utilize those even now.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
those skills that go through from generation to generation is what's key.
It's all good. Stories. It's all about stories.
Right. And you got a great one, and you're still writing yours, sir.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm 66, but it's like I got lots left.
I'm about to say, just getting started. Just getting
Just get
started.
started. Yeah. It's like, why not?
You got more
Nobody's ever
doorways
given.
in you. You got more doorways in front of you.
Yeah. It's like, it's that old thing. Sometimes it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. You just go do it.
Exactly. Exactly. Ask for forgiveness. Go ahead and do it. Because if you don't, you're just going to sit there and wait.
Yeah. So, Coach Trev, what would you say? What's our parting advice that you'd give to our audience about what it is you do?
What I do is, I would say for me, what I do is I help you to discover. I help you to discover facets of yourself that were dormant, and will introduce you to new layers of living, of doing, of operating, and of exceeding expectations in your own life. I'm here to help you. I'm here to be the inner tour guide so that you can discover more about yourself and blow your own mind.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you, sir.
Well, thank you for having me, Jim.
Yeah. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna end the stream. We'll see you again next time.
Have a good one.